this is going to be my cylinder refraction. So we're always going to start off with cleaning and sanitizing our phoropter because we're going to be placing it on the patient's face. We are going to be adding the patient's pupillary distance onto the phoropter, and we're going to also be adding the patient's current prescription onto it, we could use this as a good starting point. So we're going to place the phoropter right in front of the patient's eyes. We're going to make sure that it's well centered and or comfortably, and we're going to make sure that their eyes are right on the openings of the phoropter, okay, and the little windows that the phoropter has. So we're going to start occluding one eye. We always start with the right, so we're going to occlude the left. We're going to start off with the sphere. With the sphere, what we're going to do is we're going to add a plus 0.50 onto the eye, okay, onto the prescription that they currently have. We're going to give the patient option 1, which is plus that 0.50 that we added, option 2 being none, no extra addition. If they choose the plus 0.51, what we're going to do is we're going to ask them to read the letters again, take the acuity. If they got a better acuity, then they get to keep it. If they didn't get a better acuity, then they don't get to keep it. We're going to do this until the patient cannot get a better acuity. So, then what we're going to do is we're going to be done with the sphere. We can move on to the astigmatism portion of the prescription. So we're going to do the axis first. We're going to be using the Jackson Cross cylinder unit. We're going to make sure it's in a straddle position, and we're going to make sure that the axis indicator is right on the axis. What we're going to do now is we're going to basically be giving the patient the option of option 1 or 2. Depending on which option they choose, we always follow the red dot. So if they choose option 1 and the red dot is towards the right, then what we're going to do is we're going to go clockwise. If it's towards the left, we're going to go counterclockwise. And we're going to be only moving the axis by 15 degrees, okay, until the patient says that option 1 and 2 is basically the same. Once this happens, we can move on to the power portion of the cylinder. And on this portion, we're going to be still using the Jackson Cross cylinder unit. We're going to turn it to the right until we hear a little click sound. We're going to notice that now it has a P for power in the Jackson Cross cylinder unit. We have to move it from the straddle position to the parallel position. And what we're going to doing now basically is we're going to be either adding a minus or a plus 0.25 depending on what the patient needs. So we are going to be asking them which one they like better, option 1 or 2. If they like the option that has a little red dot under the P, then what we're going to do is we're going to add a minus 0.25 onto the prescription that they have. If they go with the white dot under the P, then what we're going to do is we're going to add a plus 0.25 until the option 1 and 2 are basically the same. Once we're done with this, then basically we can move on to the left eye, and we could refract the left eye by itself. So we occlude the right and we move on to the left. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the binocular balance. The binocular balance is really important refracting before we're finished with the refraction, because we want to know that we're not over minusing the patient in any eye. We want to know that both eyes are going to be as relaxed as we can make them to be with this prescription, that not one eye is going to be working harder than the other one. So what we're going to do is we do have 2 methods to make sure that both eyes are blurry. Okay, so the first method is basically we open both eyes, so both eyes are going to be open now. The patient's going to be happy, but now we're going to blurry their vision. Okay, we're going to add a plus 0.75 on whatever prescription is that we got. We're going to ask them if they're both blurry the same. We're going to get our little occluder, and we're going to occlude one eye and then the other eye, alternating and checking that they're both blurry. If they say, oh, my right eye is not as blurry, then we're going to add a plus 0.25 and blurry that eye. Okay, that's the first method. The second method would be the prism diopter method. So on that method, to make sure both eyes are blurry, what we can do is we can add a 3 prism diopter on the right, 3 base up, 3 prism diopter base down on the left eye. And what the patient's going to be seeing, they're going to be seeing 2 rows of letters. They could be both blurry, they could be one more clear than the other one. If they say, oh, the top one is a little bit more clear, then what we do is we add the plus 0.25 there to blurry it. When both eyes are equally blurry, the only thing they're left to do is basically add a minus 0.50. And that should be the end, that should be the optical infinity of the prescription. And we know that we have not over minus the patient, and we're good to go. We don't need to redo the refraction again. We check it and that's it. Thank you.